Good evening and welcome to the Chamber of Commerce's Mayoral. I want to thank our candidates and all of our audience for being here tonight. At this time, I'd like to ask all cell phones to be turned off, please. I will read a question to one candidate. That candidate will have 3 minutes to respond. At that time, the other two candidates will each have 3 minutes to comment. After all the questions have been read, we will give the audience the opportunity to ask questions. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to respond to audience questions. I would like to introduce our three candidates, Mayor Roy Strong, Ben Dietz, and Marty Orr.
Hello.
If you would like to say a few words about yourself, I'll start with Mayor Strong.
I'm a Wilmington resident, of course, everybody knows that. Been here a long time. I was gone for 9 years, was in the service went to college, came back, was in business and still in business, in plumbing business and piping business. Was a partner with Tom Hayden and Mike in RTM's before it was Hayden's. So all my business experience has always been good. You know, we've been successful. It's kind of like the city is of course a big business is what it is, and the idea is to make it successful, and so that's kind of why I'm mayor. You know, I want the city to do well. I'm from here. My kids will probably be back here. You know, I got cousins and nephews here, so I've got an interest in the town, and I want the town to be a good town and be successful. And business-wise, you know, the chamber here, same thing. I want the businesses to be successful too. And I think things have gone pretty well. The pandemic, I think the town did rather well, better than other towns. Retail did very well during the pandemic, actually better than normal. So it's kind of interesting how that works. You never know what's going to happen. And so that's my story.
Comment?
My name is Ben Dietz. Lived in Wilmington for 15 years. Father, 3 boys. My wife, Jessica, is born and bred here. Currently the alderman for the 3rd Ward, so this part of town. I'll stick with that for now.
Okay. Marty?
My name is Marty Orr. I've been 39 for about 15 years now, so I'm still doing good on that. Lived in Wilmington for 30 years. Had 2 amazing kids that have created gray hair, well, along with my wife. I've been married for my wife for 30 years as well. We got married when we moved up here. 2 kids, one's 30 and the other one's 23. Or no, the first one's 31. I'm sorry, she just had a birthday. Got a wonderful grandson. I've been privileged, I guess, enough since I've lived here probably since 97 when I started getting involved in politics to be able to serve the city that I've called home for so many years in various capacities, Park District, Alderman, Mayor, as well as doing all kinds of volunteer service with the Downtown Revitalization Committee. That was way back, what was that, 94, 95 there, Ralph? We were doing that. That was quite a ways ago. And then also with Catfish Days, which I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of people through the past 21 years now with Catfish Days, and we're hoping it can go again this year. But I look forward to also this time running for mayor again. I look forward to working in that capacity as mayor to not only serve the citizens of Wilmington, but also to serve the businesses as well. I'm a growth guy. I like to see growth. I want to see us to continue to grow. We need to, not only just in industrial aspects and commercial aspects, but residential aspects as well. We need to really start pushing for growth and really to help, because in my opinion, growth helps everybody, helps the business, helps existing businesses, new businesses coming in, see that opportunity as well. So
Thank you very much.
I'll stop there.
Thank you. Okay, the first question, Roy, we will start off with you. Can the city help the chamber by getting involved with the beautification program? If so, how?
That's a great question. We talked about that before. The beautification, we're gonna get some trees this summer downtown, And, of course, the hard part is not hard, but when they did that study, we already worked on a lot of that already. Of course, the walk bridge, I purchased it, but Marty had to put it in because I was out as mayor, and then Marty put the bridge in. But it was when I did it, everybody's bridge to nowhere. But that bridge has worked out pretty good. And like today, they're out in front of Nelson's. I wasn't involved with that when they did that, but they put mulch in there, and then we kind of took it all washed out, and we're putting black dirt in there and putting grass seed in there to make that a little nicer. And they we're going to put trees down there. Of course, I purchased that. We purchased that the lot downtown, and we didn't spend any money on that. We sold the old police station downtown, and that money there we was able to purchase the house and lot, and 150 tore it down for us. So we really had no money, real money from you or anybody in doing that. And now it's settled for a year. There was a house there, so now we'll take some dirt, a little bit of dirt out, and we'll put gravel in there, and probably spray tar on it, let it sit for a week, and then we'll drive on it. We can't pave it if we can't use MFT money until if it's gravel. You can't build a new road with MFT money, but MFT money, motor fuel tax money, we can do that if you tar and chip or tar it, then you can go ahead and use MFT money. But that parking lot, we've got 2 new businesses just opened up there. Baskerville opened up another flower loft, and a gal next bought the house building next to him, and she's going to have a coffee shop with sandwiches. So in talking to Ryan Jeffries, any building comes up for sale downtown, it's gone. The downtown is revitalized, and again, the retail has done very well this last year. You wouldn't think it would, but it did very well. I mean, everybody knows that you go to the grocery store and half the stuff sold out. The liquor stores were selling out everything. Whitmore's normally does 500 people on weekends a day. They were doing 500 people during the week, and so our town, I think, did well. I mean, there were probably people laid off, but
30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
30 seconds for what? I'm kidding.
Wrap up your
I know.
3-minute
Okay, so the downtown, again, we're gonna put trees, but we're not gonna dig, we have to put them in containers because we can't dig the asphalt up, And then we got the parking downtown, the bridge, and and we'd like to, and we have parks downtown, of course, that brings people in. And the idea is bring people in, keep them there, have them come back. I think that's, the retail thing, and that's the most important thing. All right, that's not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Marty, same question. Well, you want me to repeat?
Yeah, could you repeat the question? I'm gonna slide this off to the side too. I feel like I'm
Can
in my
the city
way.
help the chamber by getting involved with a beautification program? If so, how?
Yeah, I think the city has every reasonable opportunity to get involved with the chamber as far as any type of beautification project goes, whether it be downtown or whether it be on this side of town or the south side, north side, or even on our islands, but especially towards our business communities. And I think what needs to happen is not so much the city kind of say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, but to work with the chamber on any type of beautification project. The city generates, I don't know how much, probably quite a bit of revenue from gambling revenue now. Why don't we take some of that gambling revenue and put it towards areas that can be used for beautification? But I don't think from a government standpoint, we should be the ones telling to the business community what we're going to do. We should be the ones saying, how can we help you? And I think that's what's most important. And then go from there. Just like we all know, everything takes a sit down, it takes an opportunity, and it takes a plan. Plans change, plans go back and forth all the time. But if you have a good basis of people that are interested, government and business as well, and develop a good plan, I think it'll work tremendously. It's happened before in various areas of the town, like with the Veterans Park. That was a project, the Park Community Foundation that I know Ben's a part of, and I ain't gonna steal his thunder, but it's there. I mean, it's there. There's normal people, there's government people, and there's business people that really want to see the downtown, or I should say Wilmington, beautified. Let's work together and do it.
Ben?
So, taking on what both of them said, we absolutely need a plan. We absolutely need to make sure that we're partnering with all of you to make sure that, whatever we're doing is in the best interest of the town. So as business owners, you guys want to make sure that your businesses are successful. As a town, we want to make sure that your businesses are successful. And to, Marty's standpoint, what he said about taxing video game revenue specifically is something I introduced last year to tax the video game revenue and put that on a specific line that can only be used for beautification. So that's already there. And we stand to, as it sits right now, it's about $7,500 a year that we can only use this year and every year moving forward towards city beautification products. So that's something that we can absolutely start tackling now, but it's not just making a plan. We need to set aside money to budget to actually get stuff done, because a plan is just a plan, but if we have no money to do anything with it, it's pretty useless.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next question, starting with Marty. Businesses got hit with the city's business registration fees, even though we all been affected by the pandemic. Was it really necessary for the fee? If yes, why?
So we're talking about the $25 business fee. That was a fee that created a lot of debate many years ago. I think me and Roy were aldermen at the time, if I'm not mistaken. It was about $10. It was raised to $25. Is it necessary, or was it necessary during the pandemic? Probably not. But I think there was a lot of unknowns when we started that. When the pandemic started, we didn't know if it was going to be 1 week, 2 weeks, or several years. But the one thing that I think is important within that business license fee is it's an ordinance that's set up that there's $10 of every business license should go towards economic development to help the business. That's where it should go. Should the city government say where that money should go? No, you guys should. Chamber should, put the plan together, come to the city and say, let's put this together. Let's do it. We had it one time when we started with the business, when that $25 fee was enacted. We had one time where Cam, who happened to be had a business down on Route 66 downtown many years ago. He's a big Route 66 guy. He came to the city, and they were putting a billboard out on I-55 to promote Wilmington, to get people to come into Wilmington. And he had an opportunity to rent that and look for some help from the city. So that's where the city utilized those type of funds for that billboard. And that's just one example that we used. We've never really, I think, had an opportunity or been approached with an opportunity from economic development, but I think that should be out on the forefront going forward. Let's utilize that money to promote Wilmington as it is right now. Bring people here.
Okay, thank you. Ben, would you like me to repeat it?
No, I mean, I think the business license fee is an absolute necessity because it protects the businesses from, people that don't want to go through the process of insuring, licensing, registering their business in town and doing it all to detract business away from you guys. So it's a protection, and it also allows the city to enforce that protection. So absolutely, I mean, it's a nominal fee. It's $25. It's, Joliet, theirs starts at $1,500 a year. So, I mean, $25 is a very reasonable fee, and it affords you guys as business owners some protections. Absolutely.
He says it's $1,500 a year.
Okay, thank you. Roy?
I agree with Ben. It's a minimal fee, but during the pandemic, when we had the bars were closed, we didn't charge the bars and liquor stores for any fees until they opened back up. Because I thought that would be unfair, because they're paying a liquor license while they can't sell liquor, so we did that. But the fee is again, I said that retail did very well. So anybody who was in retail during this pandemic did okay. So they didn't get hurt. But once we got open, the bars and liquor stores got open, and then things picked up. So I don't know, Ralph's bar. I don't know. It probably. It hurt a little bit, and then the worst part was the gambling. They shut the gambling down. I don't know why. The state, what the governor does is beyond me anyway. But that hurt everybody, because that gambling money was something that they all counted on. It kept a lot of businesses open with that money, and which is taken off again. And again, it's gone up every year, the amount of gambling money. And I don't gamble, I don't like gambling, but people do it. If they don't do it here, they're gonna do it somewhere else, so you might as well, we'll take their money, you know. I think right now we get over like 144,000, I think, last year, not this year. That's how much revenue we took in. It was 119, went to 144. So it's an impressive amount. Yeah, that's, I think, a small fee to, and again, you know, people come in town want to do business. We have to know who it is. And that's why that fee's there too. You know, you can't just come in town and do what you want. And so, you know, so that it again, like you said, it protects the businesses. So.
Thank you. Okay, the next question, start with Ben. Who should be more responsible for tourism, the chamber or the city? If the chamber, then can the city financially help with the 5% hotel tax that says the funds will be spent on tourism?
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, it's a joint effort, but at the same time, it's in the business owner's best interest to market the town how you guys see the best economic impact. And as a city, it's not necessarily our job to help you market your individual businesses, but as the Chamber of Commerce, that is absolutely your charter. That's what you guys are designed to do, is draw tourism. But it has to be a partnership, just like everything else we've been talking about. And it's definitely something the city can help with, but I think it absolutely is in your best interest as a chamber to want to drive that yourself rather than the city take the wheel for you.
Roy,
Repeat the question.
who should be more responsible for tourism, the chamber or the city? If chamber, then can the city financially help with its 5% hotel tax that says the funds will be spent on tourism?
You know, the city is always involved with selling the city. Everything we do, we're selling the town and what we have here. Anytime we talk to anybody, it's the same thing. We go places and with the city and of course you're promoting our town and the people there. I think it's, again, like repeated before, it's a partnership with the chamber and the city. The revenue, how you pay for it. Is that sign still up that's out on 55, or is it still there?
No, it was many
Yeah.
years ago.
Well, that's one of the things that needs to be put back up there, you know, because the downtown, the retail and the antique stores are you know, they come and go, but there's quite a few down there. I don't know if there's any in here, antique stores, anybody? No, but so I think a lot of it was for the antiques. I think that's when originally the sign was kind of, you know, Wilmington, and was antiques on there or something. I can't remember for sure what was on that sign, but no, it's a combination. The revenue, how we pay for it, that's always difficult. Who pays for it? Well, you know, but no, I think that just being the mayor, alderman, you're always promoting the town, and so that's our job too. It's our job plus, you know, your job as chamber. So I think combination, both of us.
Thank you. Marty, would you want me to repeat?
No, I think I got it. I think I remembered. The chamber should definitely be the party that takes the lead in any type of promotional tourism. The government, city-wise, should be a conduit. We should be there to assist and help in any way that we can, whether it be financially to some extent, but as well as governmental resources. Sometimes the city will have a little more resources or availability to tourism type entities downstate, down to Springfield that are related to government. We can be that conduit to assist, because here's two things that are challenged with especially with our chamber and mostly being small business people. You're not only trying to run a business, you're trying to be essential and effective in your here at the chamber as well. And that can be a very daunting task, especially if you're a small business person trying to do both. You have to try to make that balance. But it can work. But I think government should be more of a conduit, not taking the lead. Let us be your resource, not your steering wheel, I guess, so to speak.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next one. Royce, does Wilmington need to provide more handicap designated parking as well as general parking for tourists and locals? If so, is it the city's job to create more
Well, it's a tough one, not really, but it's a law anyway. You have to have so much handicap parking, so that's kind of a law. We're gonna, when you do this parking lot, once we get it paved and stuff, then there'll be a couple handicapped in there, of course, handicap parking. So, and I know when Nelson's first opened up over there, the state come in and made them put 3 handicap parkings. They made them. I don't know why they have 3 there. I mean, nobody else has 3. There's, I think out front there's there 1, or in front of here I know Whitmore's has got with just 1. Downtown there's a couple downtown there. But as I think different areas like say Whitmore's is more of a you're not. I don't think as many older people are going to go in there. Where downtown if they're antique and maybe not a lot more older people. So but we do have parking close, but still that's a long ways for a handicapped to walk that far. So it's one of them where how you're trying to find a spot and well like I'm a veteran, so Lowe's and Menards has veteran parking. You go over there and park in front. I never use it, but I forget about it. It's always over there. But is that necessary? I don't know. It's maybe a way to get people there. But I don't know. I think our handicap parking is pretty good. I think we have plenty.
Okay. Marty, does Wilmington need to provide more handicap designated parking as well as general parking for tourists and locals? If so, is it the city's job to create more?
Yes and no, but yes. Let's start with handicap parking. Basically, the state has created a Handicap Accessibility Act. I think they redid that 2017, 2018, which basically obligates the city or any county or any type of form of government within the state of Illinois that any type of new construction or any renovations of any building have to meet specific standards as it relates to handicap parking. It's not a yes or no or a maybe question. That's standard set for us. So our city's building department has to make sure that those rules are followed in those 2 instances. Do we have enough handicap parking? Probably not. Especially when you look, if you really kind of focus on our downtown area, it's an older area. It wasn't designed for handicap accessibility, so we have to make that work. The state also requires ADA ramps on the edges of every sidewalk that we have in the city. You're supposed to have so many percentage done. So are we up to that speed? Probably not. But we need to be, and we can be. Parking. Parking is always prime, especially when you're dealing with downtown parking. There's several parking spots downtown. There's the area over, like Roy had mentioned earlier, our Bridge to Nowhere, the parking lot there. And then there's the proposed new parking lot that's coming downtown. So, yeah, we provide a considerable amount of parking for our downtown clients, but a lot of our outside areas in this area over there by Burkott's and stuff like that, they pretty much have their own parking lot. So, but I think we can do a lot better in directing visitors to parking that we currently have. I think that's where we're kind of lacking. We need to have some type of better way to direct people on where they can park when they're coming into town, especially if they're looking to visit our downtown area. So that's what we need to improve on.
Yeah, so I would agree. I mean, thankfully the chamber stepped up and added the directional signage, which now directs people that there is public parking down all the way on Kankakee Street, which is fantastic and it looks better. But at the same time, like the city parking lot that's next to Nellie's, unless you're right on top of it, you don't know it's there. There's no signage that says public parking. It just looks like a big parking lot. So definitely signage would be an improvement. Along the same lines, it's hard to tell where you can park on Kankakee because the lines are so degraded. Like looking right on top of it, you can barely tell that there's a parking spot there. So simply just respraying those and making them more visible, I think would hugely help. And then carrying those parking spots all the way down towards like Ramcorp and the fitness center, because right now they kind of end right at the post office, and there's another 60 spaces worth of parking that we could easily just mark out on the road. And I think that would be a huge and cheap and quick and easy way to expand parking.
Okay, thank you. I'll bring this up here that I don't have on any of the cards here, but at our last chamber meeting, we did bring up, when I brought up and everything with the chamber here, talking to, Joey was here from the city administrator, and she gave me a plot and everything of Skinner's, Doc Skinner's place over there. So we talked about it, about the chamber, maybe seeing if we could put a sign right there. So I'm gonna go talk to Skinner Animal Clinic and see if we could put one there, because that way, you know, with everybody coming from all different directions. So that's another thing that we're looking at right now, the chamber, so maybe doing something like this.
A sign for directions?
Direction, yeah.
Okay.
You know, like we have down at Clear Corner,
Yeah, like
have
this
one over here right there. That way people know, you know, church this way or school this way.
cemetery, you know?
Yeah.
'cause they-
So that's what
Yeah.
we're talking about right now. I mean, we have
Nursing home.
voted on, but we're looking into it right now.
Yeah, that'd be a good spot.
Okay, next one. Start with Marty.
Yep.
What can the chamber and the city do to get the state to improve the condition of Route 53? I know it's a loaded question.
Yeah, you can't start with me. We could go protest in front of Representative Welter's and Senator Resin's businesses.
Well, not to interrupt, but I think it's on the list. It's gonna be, hopefully, we thought they would do it this year.
We
I
hope.
don't wanna.
Nope, you're fine.
Yeah.
I'm on the outside looking in. You go ahead.
So 50,
I'm just kidding.
50, well, 102, they're coming all, you know that was released. They're coming all the way into
I'd heard
town
that.
on 102. They're gonna, and then 53 was supposed to be done also, but that, I don't think that popped up.
Yeah. Our
so-
biggest challenge, and I know he's,
Go ahead.
our biggest challenge has always been with the stakes. I always remember they have these grand master plans on what they're gonna do with 53 and 102, because I've been there and I've seen it. And I've had to feel the pain from the state, because our engineers, they look at the Google map and they go down and they make their plots and they do everything that they want to do, and then they set apart a budget on how much they're going to spend on this section of road, whether it be 53 or 102. Well, then they send it to us at the city and say, hey, we're going to do this. We go, great. The roads are like this high above the sidewalks. We need them cut down. We need the gutters back so we got good water flow, so we don't have all this flooding all the time. And they go, well, we didn't plan on that. Well, you said you're just going to improve the road. Well, no, we didn't plan on spending that much money. So basically then they end up coming in, they put a couple of layers of asphalt, and it lasts for a couple of years, and then we're back to the same problem. That's our challenge. And okay, and that's where you need to make sure that we have, we're ready for it when they come in, and you got to have that, you got to really have that state representation, because it is a crazy game down in Springfield, that where you got to really have the ear of your state representatives and your state senators to ensure that what they're saying they're going to do the right way, because that's what we need to have done. We don't need the patch job. We need that road fixed the right way. We need because how many times do we go down by the motel and stuff like that? Every time we get a good rain, the entire Route 53 is flooded because they don't pay attention to the drainage that's supposed to go on the mill race. Every year, it was a problem. They don't take care of it. So we really need that to really kind of, you know, sometimes you need to drag a senator and a state representative here to show them what's going on. So.
Thank you. Jim?
I think it's kind of greedy to ask for Baltimore on top of everything else that the state and the county are doing around town. So 102 from Warner Bridge to Alma Acres is getting resurfaced this year. They're adding turn lanes on Kankakee River Road and Boathouse. Obviously, we're redoing out by Water's Edge, that whole intersection, on top of the $144 million that IDOT's doing, building 129, 55 in Lorenzo, and then the BNSF project over the train tracks on Lorenzo. So, I mean, we're getting a ton of projects getting done. So to ask for literally every piece of asphalt that the city doesn't own to get replaced or repaired, I think we're kind of stretching our luck.
Okay. Roy, anything
Yeah.
else, comment?
Yeah, we got, when you want a project done, they call it, you gotta be shovel ready. Basically, you have to engineering. So engineering can be very expensive, as we all, I think, maybe you don't realize that. So, I think when they wanted, when they redid the stoplights downtown, and then we wanted lights on the little bridge over the canal, I think maybe the it was 100 some thousand, whatever it was, but engineering was over 10,000 or more than that. So and people, when do projects, you gotta remember the engineering. So, but the engineering is expensive, and so we have to pay for the engineering, but sometimes you do. If you don't, and it's not ready, so if a grant or something comes up, you have to have the engineering, and then they call it shovel ready, then they'll say, okay, yeah, you guys are ready, okay, we'll do that job. And they're gonna redo Peatone Road there, Peatone Road in 53. That job, that went through Marty's and mine before. It was supposed to get done finally. They're gonna do it. And so that job has been hanging in there for, I don't know, 15 years. And again, it has to be, of course, been engineered a long time ago. And then we're, and US Coal is paying part of that because they're the ones that, they're the ones that basically use that. Well, there's 300,000 what's coming from them. Well, everybody involved in US Coal are gone. So all the people that made this deal are gone. So they had to get the contract, look it up, and we're still going round and round with them over that. How much they're supposed to pay on that. So that's an issue. But like Ben mentioned, they're going to redo Lorenzo and 129. That'll be I was worried about the western part of the town. They're hurting over there because 129 is closed, the traffic. But they're picking up pretty good. They're doing. Burkott does very well over there, and then the other businesses are doing fine. The VFW's back open; they're doing fine. So, again, I don't know. If you flip a coin, one day might show up and do 53. I agree, it's terrible. They come patch it a little bit, and some of the businesses there, when them trucks come by, and actually Bobby Thomas fixed 3 or 4 holes there. He did that on his own. On 53, and so Bob's like that. He'll go out and do something and try to improve the town. He's always been like that. But hopefully we get more done.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Whatever happened to the plan to pave North Water Street, and when might we achieve it?
So the North Water Street as well as Kankakee Street are kind of tied to the high-speed rail project. So they're waiting for the second set of gates over the railroad track to get put in, and there's some land issues. So once that happens, then the rest of that gets completed. And kind of as I'm sure Roy will go into a little bit more, but we had talked about while they're doing that project is also repairing and replacing the sewer that's below Kankakee. Kind of try to maximize the investment that someone else is going to fix the road after we tear it up to replace and repair the sewer that's there.
Are they giving us any kind of idea of when they're going to be doing it? Has anybody heard at all?
My rumor mill tells me it's just a land issue. There's a land issue involved, and until that's secured, they can't finish the high speed.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
That's my understanding.
that's true. They're supposed to have been done last year, and we have to replace a water line on Kankakee Street, which we're trying to get that done, get the money for that, for that line, and we'd like to get, and we thought maybe this year they would pave at least Kankakee Street, but they haven't, and again, like Marty said, that there's a problem with the property there, coming over the tracks. And that's, you mentioned the crossing guard, Well, right now, every crossing in Wilmington, they got the double, so you can't go around. Well, we're waiting for that one on Kankakee Street. And when that one gets done, then we can shut the whistle off in town. But that's something we'd like to do. I'd like to do it. We'd all like to do it. Whoever's mayor will, and if that gets done, then we'll shut the whistle off. Because you kind of forget about it. Poor people live in Northcrest. You go up there to do work or something. And I said, I don't know how they live here. I guess they get used to it. It goes by.
Get used to it.
Oh God.
No big deal.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully when and again the railroad. If you ever work the railroad, you're nothing to them. ComEd's the same way. The city, they don't care what we say or do. They care less, and that's the problem. They're so big, the railroad. They do what they want. It's just they do what they want. And so when we get it done, they won't tell us. Well, example, we have a line that was leaking under, on Water Street, going under the tracks. Well, they wanted a $5,000 permit and then $1,100 a person a day, and they want 2 people to watch when we worked there. And I told him, I said, no way am I going to pay that money to them. Well, they're mad at us from before, but so we just cut the line on both ends. It was a 6-inch line, and then we put a smaller line through without tearing up underneath the tracks. But it was a water line, and but we wanted to still have water go all the way through because you want to loop that water. So we did that. But yeah, the railroad, they won't tell you. They're mean.
Marty, you have anything else comment on that?
Well, probably not, but I think one thing the city should be doing is, if there is a land issue, which the rumor has it that's what it is, how can the city work both those aspects to, you don't want to put somebody out, but you need to find out what the hangups are and see if you can't work out some type of resolution to a point. I don't want to get too involved in it, but I think the government should find out what's going on and see if there could come to resolution. And Roy and Ben's both right. You have an opportunity. You know you're going to have roads repaired. We were lucky enough to secure that money with the state when I was mayor, and to get these roads done because we knew it was going to have a lot of heavy equipment coming in, and they weren't going to do anything. So it took us talking with the state to get that commitment of funds for both those projects. When you talk about the utilities underneath, it's always nice if you have the opportunity to fix those prior to it, do it, because it seems like it's inevitable. We get a nice road in, and then 3 months later, we're tearing it up to fix a water main or a sewer line or something like that. So, because we do disturb the ground. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. Roy, can you name one thing the president administration has done that you thought was a really good move for Wilmington businesses?
Yes, we buying that house and putting that parking lot in. The rumor was that there was somebody that was going to buy a building down there, and they couldn't get a loan because the bank said that there's no parking down there, for a business. I don't know, but again, we're talking about getting more parking for the downtown, and that house was shot. I don't know, it was an older house, but the walls were coming down, the footings were gone, so there's no fixing that house. I like antiques, I like old stuff, but that house was shot. But that parking lot is a huge thing for the downtown and that whole end of the town. And that whole block now is going to be great. They're working on all the buildings down there in that block. Usually kind of a dead block. There's nothing on that business wise. So that's probably one of the bigger things we did. Was that and then of course you just want one thing, right? And we'll just stop it there.
You got something else? You still got time.
Well, we brought music downtown. I thought that was a good thing. If they turn it on, various complaints. They said, well, there it is, turn it on. And there's a couple people supposed to be in charge of that. A lot of times it's not on. I don't know why. I'll go down there and say, why isn't the music on? But like Cafe Stays, they use it. And the car show was a big thing. When they had, they got the microphones, you can talk on it. And it hits all downtown. We know about that. It hits over by Nellie's. So I always thought that was the Morse has it, other towns, Naperville has it downtown, and I always thought it was a good thing. Again, the money was donated. It didn't come out of the city's coffers.
Since you brought that up about the music downtown, have you ever thought about maybe, because I've heard a lot of complaints that it should be moved to a different place? Well,
you can't because of the aerial and stuff in the center where you got to reach all the different speakers. So you can't really, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it. Right now you have to get into Tom's one place. Well, I'm going to turn it around so where the stairwell to the upstairs apartment, you can get it from there. So that door is always open. So somebody can always go in there, if say Tom's not open or something. And then there's a timer on it. You can set it for, come on certain days, but somebody's got to set that, be open. And that's what wasn't done. You got to, and then again, the downtown people are different people, and And we got people that just purchased a lighthouse. I don't know, it was in the paper, last paper, but we purchased a lighthouse. Now, we didn't do it. Somebody else paid for it, for the dam, down by the dam. I didn't come up with the idea. Somebody came up with the idea. I said, yes, that would be a good idea. Anything we can do down there. And this will come up again, our next debate when we go out, the 25th. But that dam, there's people that will for and against it. That doesn't matter right now. But no matter what happens, if they tear it down or we keep it, it'll be 5 to 10 years before that ever happens. So meantime, we've got to make that safer, and that's what I'm always trying to do. But that lighthouse is going to be pretty neat. We get that done, it's going to be really neat. But so.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Okay, Marty, can you name one thing the present administration has done that you thought was a really good move for Wilmington businesses?
This is a dangerous question when I got two people in the administration on either side of me. So, no, I'll defer my 2 minutes and 50 seconds to Ben.
Safe answer.
Don't hit me.
I would say absolutely. So, I've only been here for a year and a half as alderman, but introducing the utility bill rebate for promoting local businesses while we're shut down. That's something that, while small and total economic impact probably wasn't hugely immense, maybe a couple thousand, $5,000-$6,000. But it shows that the city is willing to back small businesses. And if they need help, we should be able to go to bat for them in whatever way we can. And that's something I'm pretty proud of.
Thank you. Okay, this one's from Marty. In the fiscal year 2020, the city took in $137,000 in gaming proceeds and put it in the general fund. Would you consider taking 10% and dedicating it to specific projects like improving the downtown for tourism, parks, and special events?
Absolutely. The money's there. As much as gaming revenue is really kind of cyclic, and it can be high and it can be low depending upon how many people want to gamble in town. To commit 10% is probably a low amount in my opinion. I think we could commit a little bit more to that. But yeah, definitely earmark your money. Those are, in my opinion, those are not fees that you typically should count on to pay the bills as far as a budgetary and your general corporate. City governments can establish specific funds within their budget year, and they can earmark specific money that comes in from specific revenue, such as the gaming fees, for specific things, and that's all it's spent for. So yeah, it'd be easy to contribute 10% of that to the city, absolutely.
Thank you. Ben, would you like me to repeat it?
No, I kind of already touched on it. I introduced and we got passed a tax that goes on every single one of these machines. So when they pay their city fee, that money is already earmarked by law under the ordinance that money can only be used for that exact same purpose that you're talking about. And right now, like I said, it's about $7,500. So you're at 6.5%, not the 10%. Not saying we couldn't go up with more, but I think since it's already there, and that was your question, we already have it done. And that's something that I got done last year. And, we can see how that money gets used this year. And if it's something that we need to add more money to get more projects done, that's easily done.
Thank you. Roy?
The money coming in from the gambling, and when I took office, we had no money. We're almost broke. And so that money that we received had to be used to pay bills, and it's gone up since then. Every year it goes up. So as things get better in the city, then we can maybe use some of that. As things settle down and we get things. But things come up like we're going to have to replace the roof on the water treatment plant. Well, we might just replace the whole building. It depends. What we can do there. But we're talking about. Maybe 50,000 to maybe 150,000. So, it's hard when you take money, and it's hard just to, what are we going to pay? Are we going to buy we need a new truck for the, for the maintenance, maybe, and like right now, we're working on our budget for next year, and we got the wish list on everybody. So what do they want? What do they need? And we can't get everything. So, but the budget is, I've always, I wanted to do it, but I always like the budget. You got to have a budget. Everybody knows that. You got to have a budget. And so that money, again, I think one of the gentlemen mentioned that, you can't always count on that. It's cyclic, it goes up and down, but it basically, since I got in, it's gone up every year. And I think, I don't know, maybe people just like to gamble, I think. I don't know what it is, but it keeps going up. So again, if as it goes up, you can figure, say, well, we're going to keep at least 125,000 for the city, and if it goes over that, we can use it for other means. There's always expenses out there that we can spend. And I one time I talked about doing a 0.5 cent increase on our sales tax for everybody involved downtown, and that would go for downtown improvement. That money would go there. So, but that never got done. That's a hard one to sell. And I was trying to go all the way down and pick up, Durazio Ford too, because we got a 0.5 cent on him. He'd scream because they're selling cars and they're doing quite well. That's quite but that 0.5 cent, I thought that would be go from the Mar Theater all through town, and then that money would go right for the downtown. And remember now, I had a program where the facade improvement plan, we three businesses took advantage of it. I think Fox did it, and then the brothers, they did 2 buildings, and Ryan and Charles, we could give them up to $10,000 matched whatever they spent on it. But that fund was, there was nothing left when I took office, and we didn't have the money to put anything back in there. So hopefully as things improve, we'll get that program going again. So we'll help out with the facade of some of the older buildings downtown, which we all know could be improved.
Okay, thank you. Ben, what incentives might you implement to attract new business to town?
Well, I mean, anytime you get a new business that wants to come to town, the first question is going to be, where are they going to go? Because there's very few open land. The buildings that are there are fairly out of date, out of code, so there's a lot of investment with that on their end, so it makes it very unattractive for them to rehab a 100-year-old building downtown to bring it up to code and add sprinklers and whatever else they might need to do that. Then the second part is, what other commercial land is available? Very few. Like if you wanted to open up a new medical practice, the Wilmington Pharmacy, for instance, had to tear down half that building just to put up a pharmacy because they wanted to build brand new, but there's nowhere in town for them to build. A great example. So, I mean, the first thing is figuring out, talking to business owners, what can we do? And if that's something like putting funds back in an account to match someone's investment, that's not a bad idea. I don't know what the right idea is, but it's definitely something that absolutely has to be addressed. And it's more than just the mayor, it's councilmen, it's business owners. What would you guys like to see?
Okay, thank you. Roy,
Repeat that question.
what incentives might you implement to attract new businesses to town?
Yeah, and I had written some stuff up earlier about that. I don't know how we're going to do this program, but in the incentives, where we make it easier for a new business to come in town. The price on it, the inspection, we overhauled the whole inspection system. If anybody has had anything built or done or fixed, that you'll find our inspectors, it's a very easy route now, to get it done. It was one of the biggest complaints was, you get something done, the inspection system was just messed up in town here. But it's a lot better. And, the fees you charge them, there's other incentives you can give them, like if they're going to take an old building, and we're lucky we don't have a lot of buildings, crumbling and stuff, but if they're like people from Morris, when I learned this was, if you have more people downtown, you have less crime. So they also, they give the same thing incentives for if you put a new apartment in downtown, you get incentive for that too. And the fronts, that's where I got that from, when you're gonna improve your front of your building, you're gonna get incentives for that. So, you know, it's, you want to draw that new business. I couldn't agree on, 1,000% on that. So you know, you got to think of, things you can do for them, and also not hurting another business. If we got, there might be an insurance company in town, we're going to give this guy all everything, make it cheap for him. But so you got to kind of watch that too, but anytime they want to go to an old building and fix it up, you should try to help them on that. And which I think is a big thing to do. And we got a lot of old buildings. But
Okay, thank you. Marty?
When a prospective business client comes into any town, let's say Wilmington, because where we want them to come, right? There's first two places I think any business is going to go to town. They're going to go to your chamber and they're going to go to your city. Okay? They're going to ask specific questions. The first thing they're going to ask is, do we have available property in the city of Wilmington? Well, if we're coming to the city government, you want to have something together. So there's property around the city that we don't know if it's available or not available, because unless we reach out to those people that own the property. If you got farmers out there that own the property, if you got residents that own the property, you got people living out of state that own the property, we should engage those guys to say, hey, what is your plan, or what are you looking to sell your property, looking to hang on to it, to find those type of aspects. Second thing is, when a business comes in, they're going to ask those questions. Hey, we want to build in town. Where can we build? We need to have those type of answers for them. What can we build there? What's your codes? What's everything? So you kind of put that whole package together for them. But to me, if the city kind of needs to have that knowledge. If there's people out there that are looking to rent people, the city can engage that as well, just as well as a chamber. So when somebody comes in, we can provide them the answers that they're looking for. Because when a business comes into the city to look, let's just say, I don't know, can't say any small type of commercial business, we're not the only city in the area they're going to. They're going to go to Diamond, they're going to go to Coal City, they're going to go to Braidwood, and they're going to look for the best deal that they can get. Because everybody in this area is going to go shopping in different towns. We all do that. So we got to make sure we have a good plan together to attract good business.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, last question.
So,
Roy, what's the most important issue facing the city, and what do you intend to do to correct it?
I think income, bringing money into the city is probably the most important thing. And we've done a lot. This pandemic has kind of threw a curve at everybody. The kind of a little recession hit here too before, and I want the industrial park. I'm not going to bring that up because, but they when they do a new building out there, the city retains some money, gets a few $100,000 out of that, every time. But on building fees, that's all. We don't get money from the buildings, but but you can't count on that. You can't say, okay. And when I first got in, our bookkeeper said, well, they'll probably do a new building. They put it in the budget. Well, I said, no, don't do that. But they did anyway. Well, no new buildings came in. They sat on I think Charlie building for a couple of years. They finally, Amazon moved in there. Finally, we got that running. Now they're gonna build two new buildings. They have one rented, and they're gonna spec a building. So we'll probably get $300,000 maybe or more out of that deal. But you can't count on that. It's one of the things that that you never know what they're gonna do, what's gonna happen out there. But that's the only money we get is the building fees and stuff like that. But yeah, income, it's money, and then again the gambling fee, again if property taxes don't change much, that stays the same. It goes up a little bit, but and you hate to throw any more taxes on the people, on everybody. So you kind of, I think you gotta stick to a budget is the most important thing, and then every year how much money basically they're going to come in, so that's all you can spend. You can't without borrowing. If you borrow, of course you got to pay it back. We're not like some of the government programs where they let you go on it. But I think the, sticking to your budget, and, you know, and the money we have coming in is hanging on to it.
Okay, thank you. Marty, what's the most important issue facing the city and what do you intend to do to correct it?
Most important thing facing the city and facing is basically growth and lack of it. We need to get back to being extremely proactive in growth in all three phases. Industrial, as Roy mentioned, or hit upon, but also commercial growth. We got plenty of areas that are available for commercial growth, but even most importantly, residential growth. Okay, that helps to me existing businesses more than anything is more people. We probably maybe built 20, 30 homes in the past several years. That's not a lot. Now, when you see neighboring communities be building 20 or 30 more, what's holding us back? I'm not really sure. I know in the height of the recession back in 2010, 2011, the council and we realized that we were having exactly zero growth. So we proposed the elimination of all impact fees on the existing lots that we have in this town. Generated some interest, but not a whole lot. Not what we was anticipating. I mean, naturally we upset the school a little bit because we were eliminating their impact fees as well. So we went from basically a full 100 some odd, I think, lots down to 30. School agreed to go with the first 30. I think we've used all those. I'm not exactly sure. So we still got to engage in that promotion. The type of residential subdivision growth is probably not as prevalent as it used to be. We know back in the early 2000s, you had all these companies that would come in and build 20, 30 homes in 6 months. I think we need to get maybe not to that extent, even though I'd like to see 20 or 30 homes built a year, if not more, to really kind of boost up our residential base. Once we boost up our residential base, it's going to have a positive impact on our commercial base, because commercial, not only existing, but new commercial interest develops that interest because they look at rooftops. They look to see how much we have within a certain geographical area when they come in to build.
Thank you.
I think the biggest issue is we need plans, and we need to take action on plans instead of just focusing on economic or revenue or development. We need something that people can get excited about, and maybe longer term goals than what's happening this city council meeting or this fiscal budget. What's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. We got a lot of big things coming up. You know, the sewer bond expires in 8 years. The TIF district expires in 13 years. And that's life-changing money swings, both on the water bill side and, you know, what can the city do with an extra $750,000 if the TIF expired today? So, I mean, we need to have plans to act on that money instead of waiting for that money just to fall in our lap, and we end up doing some immediate pet project because we have money burning a hole in our pocket. That would be my feedback.
Okay, thank you. And one of the questions that I didn't ask, but I'll ask it here real quick with the time and everything, but all the other towns, Shanahan, Manuka, Coal City, Diamond, everybody is building houses and building things up, and how come it seems like we don't have anything going on? We haven't had many houses being built here at all. And I was just a couple weeks ago, I drove through Coal City over there to Diamond, and I went over to Manuka. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, what is stopping us from doing this? I mean, that's the thing. We got property out at Peatone Road. We can go different places, but it's something like we got a roadblock up and we're not. It's like, what is stopping us from doing
Well,
this?
the last person that had the subdivision go out there on Kayla Road went bankrupt.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so we went through kind of a recession, you understand that. So, and that's one of the things that, we're not gonna put a subdivision in. There's the second subdivision out there by Water's Edge, the bank bought that, but they haven't done anything. So those lots are available, but there's no lots available, and there's very few lots available in town. There's a few, but, you know, so that's their issue, is there's not the property available, and we're hoping, like all of us are hoping that maybe, you know, a contractor come in, and the cost of building a new house now, I think, does everybody realize how much it's gone up? I mean, a 2x4, if you go buy a 2x4, I mean, oh my God. Plywood's quadrupled. So that's why people in town here are buying the older houses and fixing them up because they can't afford to build a new house. That's unfortunate, but like everybody knows there are all these, which is good because now you taken some of these rundown houses and they're pretty good. They're in nice shape and improved their town, a lot. In fact, well, I went, it was Brookside, there's a house on Daniel Street. I think, I don't know what's left because they took all the siding underneath off. I mean, the place is stripped. And, I mean, they're gonna put $100,000 back in a house. But I don't know if they'll get that much for it when they get, I don't know if they're gonna sell it, probably sell it, but, so, that's a problem, we're not gonna buy a subdivision, we're not gonna do that, so we have the contractors come in. And like I say, that bank bought that subdivision out there by Water's Edge, but nothing's been happening. And that was pretty much ready to go because the concrete and I think all the utilities were in it, but then now it's sitting there. So, I would hope somebody would come in, but so far, and then I say Peatone Road, I don't think, Hazard's not gonna sell that, maybe, but you'll put enough money in front of his nose and then, and then we could go out Peatone Road, maybe out that way, 102, it's not much out that way to build up. Braywood, there's no property there, you can't go to, there's no property out there for a subdivision. Strip Mine Road, there's nothing, that's a state property and the house, there's nothing out there. So you could, right now, and then, again, you've got like out, right now, like out by the ridge by the industrial park, across the street. Now Redmond, he won't sell nothing. He'll, that property was prime. That's more industrial out there. So you really, there's only a few places really we can, Peatone Road, basically, out 102, farther out. There's a few properties out there, but, we've had people come in and they wanted, Dunkin' Donuts come in. They wanted to get property. They had to be coming to town from the south and they had to be on the right side. Well, there's only a couple spots, available, and so they never bought anything. But so time.
Okay, Marty, do you have anything coming on there? That was a quick
Well,
question I have, but I didn't bring it.
yeah, no, I mean, I was already hitting on residential growth, and I got a whole bunch of lots over by where I live that are available, and even the property that Roy talks about that the bank owns. I guarantee you, the bank doesn't want to own that property. They'd love to sell it to anybody that was interested to come and buy it. So, what's stopping them? I don't know what's stopping them until I ask what is stopping. There has to be potential clients. How is Coal City and Diamond building 30 or 40 homes a year and we're not? How is that? Why is that? Okay. I know Roy mentioned the property on Kayla Road. Yeah, that was right when the recession hit back in 2007. They went belly up. Same thing happened with Dresden's property that he talks about by Water's Edge. That's why the bank owns it. Bank owns property by me. Do they want to own it? No. They want to sell it. They'd love to sell it to anybody to have a home on it. How do we incentivize more aggressive growth as far as residential? Outside of impact fees, off the top of my head, that's all I know. We're tremendously expensive on impact fees, probably well over $10,000 to $13,000 if I remember right when we got rid of it. So maybe that's the type of incentive. What other incentives are out there? Okay, because a lot right now that doesn't have a home on it helps every taxing body in this town zero, nothing. It's just basically a vacant lot. You put a home on that can benefit every taxing body for the next 20, 30, 50 years because that's what it's doing. Now it's got value on that property. So that's what we need to work on. Try to find some ways to increase our residential growth.
Thank you. Ben?
I would just add to what Marty's saying, there's only so much the city can do as far as waiving fees or making, there's nothing the city can do to make a lot sell. We're not going to build a house for people. It's not what the city's in there for. So definitely reaching out to the local builders, and we have a few, and ask them, why aren't they building more? What's stopping them? Is it, a money issue? Is it a permitting issue or a fee issue from the city? I don't know, because I don't build houses.
I know what Roy's saying because I went over a while back and I had to buy some plywood and lumber and everything, a couple things I was doing, so I know exactly what he's saying, and wood is very expensive.
Oh, it's terrible.
So I know what he's talking about, so Thank you, gentlemen, for the questions that we had. Now, what I'll do is I'll open it up to the audience here. If you would like to speak, or you want me to read the question, go ahead, Andrew.
I just had a question while we're on the topic. Have you guys ever looked at, I mean, the price of lumber, everything, it is significantly high. I don't disagree with that, but surrounding communities are profiting from it. So have we ever looked at possibly talking to their administration and seeing what they're doing that's making it successful? I mean, we definitely have pro builders, we have local construction companies that want to build, but the question is, what's stopping them? You can certainly ask contractors, you can ask Walensky, you can ask those people, but maybe is there any plan to talk to other municipal governments locally, Coal City, that are having that success to see what is working for them?
Roy, would you like to answer
Well,
that? I mean, it all boils down back to the same thing, but I mean.
yeah, Coal City's got all that open property all around them, and Diamond's getting, they're narrowing down. The Diamond hasn't got a lot left, but, and then Diamond, actually, Coal City surrounds Diamond, so Diamond, their biggest thing is retail. That's what they're trying to, she's done pretty good. She's got a couple, places there and retail, but the Coal City, also, they put some, I'm gonna call junk houses up over there. They had the big box houses. They're just plain square house with the, siding on it, and I don't think we'd want that. I like if they're gonna build a house, I like a quality house. Right now we have a brick on 3 sides. I think that's important. So when where Marty lives up there, they're nice places. They're really nice places. It's a nice subdivision, and where Leo Van Dyne built those townhouses, they're beautiful. And then when Roy Sergey built those duplexes out there at Water's Edge, if you've ever been out there, I mean, those things are great. I mean, people are moving there, they can't believe what a nice duplex that is. So I think that's important. I like the city to keep the quality houses. I wouldn't want the cheap subdivision coming in. And then don't forget too, you got to remember what's going on around here. These warehouses stuff, the people working there. I just talked to Dow in Wilmington here. They're going to work 24 hours now, 3 shifts, and they got a lot of part-time help and stuff. They can't get nobody. You can't get people to work, and you do. It's the bottom of the barrel. Now, do I want those people living here? No, I don't. I mean, maybe that's wrong. I don't, whatever. But I mean, that's I think that's an important thing. What do you want to bring into town? When Arsenal was here, or came here, some good people came with that Arsenal, and a lot of families are still here, and that's kind of what I'd like to have happen. I want good people to move here and keep them, and I think that's important. Not just throw a subdivision up and what happens. It's got to be a nice place. I know Jason Builders. He's got a house built. I'm gonna say who for, but it's $600,000. It might be $900,000 for a house. $600,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marty, you have anything coming on that?
Andrew, even though you're going to Texas, I'll still answer your question.
I still love Wilmington.
I know your family's staying here, so yeah, we'll at least see people that look like you. We just won't see you. No, you're right, and I think it's what we need to kind of look at is not only just from a municipal standpoint, but from the builder standpoint. A lot of developers and maybe like you say pro builders and those in the area, they don't construct until they have a buyer. Okay, that might be what's holding us back. Maybe we need, are the guys in Coal City and Diamond, do they have legitimate buyers before they're putting that concrete in the ground or not? They're good questions to find out, because I mean, it's a competitive market from a city standpoint, commercial, residential, it's competitive. You want to try to get as much as you can in here. And you got to try to find ways. If I'm talking to a builder and I say, hey, why are you building in Coal City and not in Wilmington? Well, because your fees are $12,000 more than over in Coal City. Well, okay, that's good to know. So now we have a game plan. Now we know why, right? So let's do that. And then the second thing is where the chamber and the business people, we got to market Wilmington. We got to make Wilmington the friendly place it is. to come, for people to really be engaged to come in here. I've talked to many people, and even myself. It's the nature of Wilmington, all the natural stuff that we have with our islands and everything else. It's really an attractor to people that want to come here that are not from here. And I think it's awesome, but no, you hit it on why are they building but more than we are? And it's, and enjoy Texas. It's gonna be hot.
Ben, you have anything comment on that?
Can I get the question repeated? I don't know if it actually got
I
answered.
was more or less just asking, is there
Why are
any
other
idea
towns
or any opportunities to talk to other municipal governments that are having success? Now, I know they're in Grundy County, maybe that's a factor, but is there a plan or is there any type of communication between the city of Coal City or Diamond or Braidwood that's having success with building
Right.
residential?
Might not
So,
wanna tell us our
I would
secret.
say as an alderman, it's not my place to contact other people on behalf of the city. As prior mayor and current mayor, absolutely. Like, we need to have connections, conversations about everything with our immediate neighbors, because we have very few. We have Braidwood, Diamond, and Coal City. And especially if we're ever gonna talk and have a serious conversation on selling water, they're gonna be the people we're selling it to. We're not gonna be selling to Joliet. So absolutely, we need to have relationships, and we are gonna be competitive on certain things like housing and commercial. It's just the nature of the game. I mean, that doesn't say Ralph, for instance, hates on Hayden's business because they're both bar owners. They both want to succeed, and I think the only way you can do that is with a partnership.
Thank you.
Just one point, yeah, they're talking about Dresden closing. If Dresden does close, Coal City will be a ghost town, I'm telling you. So, and that's, those things, you gotta look at the economy, what's going on in the economy, and those are things that are so important. And we still have those, we still drop those fees on the houses. We don't charge 12,000. So we kept the program.
Good.
We just add to it.
That's good.
I know, it was a good program, and we kept that up, and so, again, yeah, you were paying, we're gonna charge somebody 12,000, that's not fair, and other towns not charging anything, so, but,
Thank you.
I have a question. The building that we bought downtown for additional parking spaces, how many spaces will we actually get out of that plot of land? And how many of those are going to be handicapped, accessible for our seniors and our people that are handicapped?
well, what we're gonna do there is, somebody drew up a nice plan, we had an engineer we got rid of, and I said, well, last thing you do, at least draw this up for me. Well, it was very bad. So we're gonna use that alley, the alley there for parking. We're gonna move against the alley and have two rows. So we'll probably get over, I think he's like almost 40 lots.
40 actual parking spots?
Yeah, and we're gonna have like, maybe more, but we'll just say that. And then, also, the handicap will be up front. We'll probably put, and we're gonna put, also, there's a pole there, and it's ready to fall down. So we're gonna replace that pole, and we're gonna put, there's power on it now. We're gonna put, like a couple 220s and some 110s. So when you have the activities downtown, they got plugins for them. And then also Durazio is gonna donate one, but we're gonna have a charger there for the electric cars. And we'll probably put one right there, and then maybe we might get another one, maybe put one in the parking lot. But, so we want to get that open right away, so the people down there can use that parking lot, because it's so important. And then we won't get it paved this year, but we'll get it open. And then, we'll probably, but we're gonna take that out, and so you have two driveways, so you can still get down to the alley. And then also, we'll probably have to put I thought, probably put trench drains on the bottom, so you get the water and drain it under the road to the canal. And then we better put probably a barrier all the way along that, because I'm waiting for a car something happen and go into the canal.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, we don't want that to
So
happen.
we still don't know how many will be actually handicap parking
Well,
spaces there will be
I think
within those 40
it might be by law, we're gonna have to do, and we'll probably do the parking right now up front on the road, make those handicapped. And then, so there's like, we're gonna lose a couple because of driving into the parking lot.
Right.
So there'll probably still be maybe three or four. We'll probably just make those all handicapped. And then the parking lot itself will probably be regular, of parking. And then again, we'll get, how it is, how many times you go to a business, I'm not gonna mention a business, and the business owner's got his car parked out front of the business. you're like, what, you think, what are you doing, you know what I mean? But,
We know,
yeah, we all know that.
you've been all down there.
Yeah,
Okay,
So I'd like to add to that because it's the first time I've heard that
all right.
as an alderman. I don't know
Well, you
what
should
the
know
hell
that
he's
stuff.
talking about.
If you're an alderman,
Absolutely.
at all
How
the
many-
meetings, you should
how
know
many
this.
spots?
And more importantly, there's no money to do any of that. Nothing's budgeted in
Oh.
either the last budget or the current
This is all
budget. So,
speculation.
yeah, I mean,
no.
Again,
we'll do
there's-
that.
We don't actually
there's no
have-
plan to do
We don't know
this.
that we have 40 spots.
yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything other than what you just heard. I have
Okay.
not to see a thing. So again, we
So
need
then
plans,
don't
but
know
we
actually
need a
what's
plan
going be
to
going
act on
It's
it.
total speculation, what I'm being told.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we hope that it goes through. That's just all I can say.
absolutely.
Thank you very much for that information
Marty?
again.
You like comment on this?
No, I
Okay.
don't know how we get 40 spots, but that's just me. But
I couldn't see 40
I know,
spots.
You have a question?
Ryan Jeffries
Okay.
drew it up,
Yeah.
and we use the alley for
Jeff, you have a
parking.
question?
Oh, okay, we use more than just that spot.
Ben, and I
Yeah.
think you just hit on it. What's your biggest frustration with city council?
Ooh. Yikes.
You're not gonna hurt feelings. You got people running for mayor.
No, I'm not afraid of hurting feelings per se, but I mean, the big thing is, continually I hear since I've been in office of plans to do this. Like I plan to put a lighthouse at the dam or whatever. I plan to do this. There's nothing's in concrete. There's no budgets for this. There's no feedback from including me as an alderman. There's no feedback on anyone else's feedback, and that's just not how. There's no partnerships. I'm not asking downtown merchants what their feedback is, what they would like to have in that parking spot. It's great that he's reached out to Durazio and they've made this commitment and all. It's the first time I'm hearing about it, so it's hard for me to be a cheerleader of that if I have no clue what the hell we're talking about.
it's a good question.
Okay, yeah, Bob.
Just want to say thank you, you guys, for coming to do this. Apologize, I wish there were more business owners here. We were kind of hoping it'd be a bigger thing for you guys. But I've known you three guys personally. I think all three of you guys are outstanding. And I think that you guys have the love for the town and the people and the best intentions for it. So I think all three of you outstanding candidates. I got a specific question for all three of you guys. When you get into office, or Roy back in office, what are your plans to do with the city administrator and the current police chief? Is your plan to get to know them and see how it goes and let them stay in their jobs? Do you have a plan for your own people you want to put in there? Pretty much for City Hall. Is it everybody's got to interview with me to keep their job, whatever? Do you plan on bringing in new people, or do you plan on keeping the current people who are in their spots now?
I'm keeping the people out there right now. We've got a great chief. I like Chief Lyons, and this guy is just as good as Chief Lyons was. We've had some bad police chiefs over the years. So I've been here all my life. I've known some really bad ones. I'm not going to mention names or nothing, but we've got a really good chief. And to me, it's one of the few things that come out of the last administration was the chief. So and I hope that whoever gets in there would keep him. And then the administrator, I would keep her, of course. She's doing a great job. She's been there and as secretary for like, I don't know how many years, 12, I don't know, whatever, 12 years, but I don't know what they're going to do. They haven't mentioned.
Did you want each one to?
I want each.
Absolutely.
Want to comment on it?
Yep.
Absolutely. Good question. That's probably the hardest question of the night, Bob. I've been involved in this situation once before, a long time ago back. Anytime a person like any one of us is duly elected to be the mayor, we have always tried to engage the constituents as much as possible and is putting our plan together. And to be an effective mayor, and I would say successful as you go throughout your time as mayor, you need to make sure you have the right people alongside you. I've worked with both of these people that you mentioned specifically. I hired our current police chief. Does that mean he's immune if I was to be duly elected? No. Does it mean the current city administrator is immune? No. There's usually a period of about 20 some odd days from the time, 14 to 20 days from the time that the certification occurs until whoever steps in to be sworn in as mayor. I think it's at that time that we utilize that to engage staff to see if they fit that mold. Does it say that on day one that if I was to be elected, their time will be done? Not necessarily, but I think there needs to be a process at the same time. I need to make sure that whoever's alongside myself as either police chief or city administrator, that their ambitions and what their goals and are aligned with what I was duly elected to do, and that's what I want to make sure of. So, is anybody safe? No. Does that mean everybody's gone? No. What I'm saying is I want to make sure that the person's there is the right person for City of Wilmington for the next 4 years.
Ben?
I would say coming from someone who's been in management since I got out of college, no, I mean, we can't go in day one and fire people. That's totally irresponsible. We can relive that nightmare that most of us experienced when that happened last time, and it is what it is. But at the same time, I can't fault any of the department heads because there's no standards on what they do. It's every day, it's who knows what their job description actually is, what their daily goals are, what their monthly goals. And at the end of the year, we all sit in an executive session and we talk about who deserves a raise. That's the biggest crap I've ever heard in my life, because anytime you work for an $18 million company, which is what the city is, you have goals. If you don't hit those goals, then there are consequences. I don't know anyone that goes to punch a clock or works in any kind of administrative professional or higher role where they have no goals, no accountability, and we can't just wait to the first accountability is firing them. I mean, that's just irresponsible. So I think it needs some proper management, some good goals, and if those people don't make it, then, life goes on.
Okay, thank you.
So is there no current contract at all between you guys? and the-
Based on what the statute relies on, any department head position, city administrator position, even the police chief, their term is only good up until the term of the current mayor. So once the current mayor that they're under expires, they don't have their contract can't exceed that time frame based on state law. Doesn't mean that they're absolutely gone. They can work without a contract, but that's how the state law is designed right now.
I was just familiar with the Park District. The Park District has their contract with the director, and if, for example, in this situation, the board or the council and the mayor decided to fire the director, they would then have to still pay out that contract if they did not breach the contract.
Yeah, usually in contractual agreements, there's with cause and without cause terminations in most contracts that deal with those type of positions. So yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon to see where there's some type of severance package that's built into it, whether it be, a month, 2 months, or whatever. If it's without cause. If it's with cause, then if it's with cause, they're still at will employees, even with the contract. If there's cause for them to be terminated during their contract, then yeah, they're subject to that. If it's without cause, they're subject to it. With cause, then they have appeals and all this stuff. There's a lot of legal stuff that goes into that.
And Ben, you mentioned that there's no job description or goals or quarterly goals, yearly goals. There's no layout for the city administrator or the police chief's goals currently?
Right.
They covered it.
Does it?
Did you want? Yes, there are. I'll give you more.
What
than
town
one
of Texas you moving to? We're gonna warn them you're coming.
Sorry, I'm just kind of curious.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I'm going to Corpus Christi. but
Awesome, good luck.
I still wanna see-
That's gonna be nice down there.
Debbie, do you have anything?
No, actually, the two gentlemen covered that. I was just curious as to whether there was any land available left to be annexed And, because we were bordered by the river on one side, and Shanahan came across and got that. And like you said, Peatone Road, Route 102, Butcher Lane, and Taylor Road going out.
Yeah, we have,
Everywhere else,
this-
west and east is either,
the city's always had a,
Forest
yeah,
Preserve kills us.
yep, the city's always had a forest reserve, will kill you.
Right.
Bounders us on.
We
different
have done,
directions.
we have a comprehensive plan which deals with the 1.5 mile radius outside our current city limits, city boundaries. And we have a comprehensive plan built into that and what we'd like to see as far as the development outside of that. But like I said, we got Medewan to the north, you got Forest Preserve property. And that's what's hard with us from the city impact when you talk about available property. 60% of the property that's within our area is federally or government-owned land. That leaves us with a 40% opportunity. So where do we go? Like I said, Peatone Road is a huge avenue to go down if you're looking for any type of commercial or residential development. We got the Ridgeport Logistics, the outside, that's pretty much you're gonna see industrial development, you're gonna see commercial development out there. That's gonna be your primary focus out there. You'll see the larger intermodal probably on the other side of the railroad tracks once BN gets going, because BN's building that bridge and they don't build it just for their health. There's bigger plans in their portfolio, I'm sure. So, but yeah, I mean, we're narrow in our area and our focus, but I think we have the opportunity to go that way.
Yeah, we'll probably annex, maybe pretty soon, some of that property, other side of the tracks out there. You gotta watch our neighbors sometimes.
on Peatone Road, or which
Yeah,
way?
out by Lorenzo,
A lot of
I'm sorry.
by Lorenzo, out
By
by the
Lorenzo.
industrial park.
But a lot of you'll see municipalities out there will have what do they call them, boundary agreements,
Yeah,
and they usually run 10 years. Where you'll see municipalities like Elwood and Joliet's had one for years, and then that expired, and that's why you see a lot of infighting going on between Elwood and Joliet when it deals to the intermodals up there. But a lot of municipalities do engage in boundary agreements. Manhattan had engaged us for a boundary agreement several years ago. But we have to look at it, is it beneficial for the city to enter into a type of boundary agreement or not? And sometimes the landscape is to look and see what type of government do they have. As you've seen up north with Shanahan, Joliet, Plainfield, they were into that strip annexation. They would annex 300 feet, go for miles with just 300 feet of property to get to an area they wanted to go. That's why you see like with Shanahan goes all the way down Route 6 on one side of the road, past Panuka, all the way almost to Morris, because of strip annexation to get to a specific point. So boundary agreements are beneficial, but they also can be detrimental to you. You want to see what type of what they're trying to do at the same time. It's a game.
you're talking about that. You're talking about annexing, the old story was, when Chicago annexed to get O'Hara Field, they went down the railroad tracks, like, 20 feet or something. That's when they changed their law. It's gotta be 300 feet. But yeah, Chicago caused that. And they got O'Hara Field.
I think Bob had a question.
I got a quick question for you guys, and it's kind of your personal opinion. You guys have all been here long enough, you know what the town is. Is there a business or a franchise you think you would like to see come here that would succeed here? If anything, what has a chance? What do we need that we don't have? In your opinion?
Well, we're lucky, I think, in Wilmington that a lot of our businesses are unique. Of course, we got insurance salesmen, all right, we got the antique stores. We don't, does everybody know what the Amazon effect is? Have you heard of that? Everybody heard of that? Where Amazon, what they've done is almost stopped retail sales. And because everybody's, especially the pandemic, everybody's buying online and they're not going to the store, So, so to get like a clothing store about impossible, or a shoe store. So it would, another antique store, I don't know, a massage parlor like that closed, that was there for a while. So, But these malls, you know, some of the malls are getting in trouble, you know, like the one in Kankakee, I think a couple people left, the Jeffs. Well, what they're doing, like the big mall up there in Minnesota, you know, they got an aquarium in there. They brought I think not a zoo. They brought a amusement park in there just for people to come. And it's same thing in Wilmington, which I was meant to talk about earlier, but later, was that when we have these, like coming up is that beer thing coming up, it's beer, you know, I think you got
Shop and hop.
shopping up.
Hop and shop.
Well, those things that you have to do with the taste, the wine on water, that's a great thing, because you got to go to all the stores and visit them. And even Catfish Days where we'd have stuff at night, like when they had the parade, you know, the Thanksgiving parade. And I'd go tell the business owner, you got to be open. And we had these independent business. Oh, I don't know. Well, people come in, they might not buy something. They'll come back a week later and spend $1,200. And that's what happens. So a good business to bring. I don't know. That's a tough one. Well, the donut shop, we're trying to get those to come. You know, and
That's the easy answer. Dunkin' Donuts. Everybody likes Dunkin' Donuts.
so
right?
that would have worked. You know, if we can get them, we're still trying to get them, but we don't need another grocery store. We don't need another insurance salesman. We don't need another. I don't think we need another bar. You know, so that's maybe you guys think of
Yeah,
something.
I bought a hotel, a nice Holiday Inn Express, Holiday Inn. To me, that's one of the biggest needed things within our area, and we have the ability, if anybody was interested in doing it, to sell for them to get those to be successful by occupying those rooms. We got 150 training center. They got people that come from all the tri-state area to train there. You got all the shutdowns that go on with Dresden and Braidwood and Mobile and Lyondale. So it's beneficial. In fact, shortly before I got out last time, the Elion had actually done an $80,000 hospitality study in that area. Didn't sound like at the time, or they haven't had, you know, I don't know where they're at. I haven't talked with them, but to engage those type of companies that can come and build that type of hotel. But to me, that's one of the, from a commercial standpoint, a hotel, a nice quality hotel or motel, would be, I think, an absolute benefit for the city. Because we all got family, and they come from out of town. Hey, where do you want to stay? Well, Joliet, Route 6 probably, but I'd like for them to stay a little closer.
Tim, you have anything coming?
No, Marty hit it right on the head. Absolutely what I was going to say.
Sorry.
It's fine.
They've been, Ilion now has been trying to get a motel out there for quite a while. And when they do, to get a motel, you have to have an eating place along with it. That's why Cracker Barrel, you'll see a Cracker Barrel a lot of times by a hotel. So they've been working on it very hard, and I thought they'd have something by now, and they left, and anything retail would be out of the TIF, of course, and hopefully we get some sales tax out of them. But they've been working on it hard and they haven't got one yet. So, and then at one time they were supposed to want a couple of people were going to put one out for the training center. We talked about the training center, but that fell apart. That didn't happen. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
Steve, may I?
We got some gas stations coming. I mean, we already got enough, but I think we might get a couple more. Another one.
Replace the old one on the west side there, across from Burkhouse?
No, I don't know. That's changed hands. They keeps. Well, somebody bought it now, cleaned it up, but every time the tax is due, they don't pay it, so somebody picks it up on taxes. But I don't know. They're not talking what they're doing there, but the other side of town, either Peatone Road or River Road.
Somebody didn't do their homework when they bought the property.
Yeah. So we probably get a new gas station there, Peatone Road or River Road. But
Across from Burkhouse, the guy came in there, like Marty was saying, it was a big deal with through Will County. They took the tanks out, spent a lot of money, next thing you know, cost a lot of money to get that done.
So is that just gonna sit there?
Sit there until probably go back up for sale again.
And whoever's in the office, you work with them. They come in, you talk to guys. Well, maybe there's a road. That is a road right next to it. Well, you could that road could be part of their parking lot, or not parking lot, but, use that, and behind, there's a house behind them, and I think the city has property behind them too. But we could probably vacate that for them, to give them a little more room there. But nobody, they don't work with you. A guy called me that had a couple times before. I said, what do you want to do there? He said, well, I'm gonna do this or that. Well, I don't think they buy it on taxes. They don't realize what they're buying. And then it's small. So the guy took the tanks out, at least it's clean now. And then same as, the building next door, Crichton's building. Well, somebody's gonna buy it, and then I think they want to do a test, drill the ground and see if it's contaminated. And he wouldn't do it, so he rents it, because that gas could have, it spreads. That gas station leaked down by across from the launching pad, and it went into the apartments. That's how they found it. The sump pump had gas in it. That apartments there, but then it went across the roads because I think they got a test well over at the launching pad to see, how it's settling down now. But they watch that pretty close. And then the mobile station downtown, I don't know what's going to happen there because I was told that you can only line those tanks maybe twice, use them again. And they already done that, so I think his tanks are shot. And now will he build, put new tanks in? I don't know. So that's been all winter now for quite a while. It's been no fuel, no gas there. So.
Okay, we got one question left. Debbie's got one question, and then we'll call it next.
Then you can harass us afterward.
Okay.
It's really a simple yes or no. Is the Ileana dead? And are you for or against it?
That's 2 questions.
Yeah.
Okay, a question and a half. And I'm a bookkeeper by trade. I can't count.
Totally not dead.
No, it's not dead.
It's not dead.
Only for the simple fact that the feds did not take it off the books. The state of Illinois said it was dead, okay, but it's still part of the federal plan for the Ileana to be there.
I saw it was still on the CMAP agreement.
Right, because it's still part of the federal program plan. Okay, so the state, Illinois and Indiana, even though Indiana would favor and probably would benefit from it more than we would because of the high taxes in the state, the feds could come in if they wanted to and put it in there because it's still mapped out. Naturally, they'd have to do the necessary studies and everything else. Am I for it?
Or against
That
it?
is such a challenging question because I was part of that. See, and I knew you were at. It definitely has a benefit for the city of Wilmington for growth. So overall, yes. Was I happy with the route they chose? Absolutely not. Because they, instead of cutting that path down to 129 like they did, they had the opportunity where they could have just chosen to go right down alongside River Road. Okay, there's 19,000 acres in Madeywan property. For them to take a few hundred would not have hurt them. Okay, but they chose not to. And especially being a very engaged part of that, because this thing's 150 feet from my house. I'd see it on 3 sides, so I could easily say, no. Okay, but I had to look in this position, if the position of mayor, you have to look at the overall perspective. It would be a boom for Wilmington if they played it right. Okay, but I never liked the way it was going. But you can sit there and scream at the federal government all you want. They're not going to listen to you. They're a lot more powerful than we are. Okay. One of the things we did when it was in there is we passed a resolution to actually add a 0.5 cent tax to all tolls in the area. It was crazy because when those people putting it together, the IDOT people, said no municipality had asked for a tax on the tolls in the entire structure. We was the only ones that did it. And that was several $1 million a year. I told Madeywan, build it where you got it going right now, because talking to the people from Madeywan, they were always, being a federal agency, they never had money. So I said, add a penny tax on these tolls that are coming through. Let us take a few hundred acres of your property to put the toll road there, and you guys collect money on the toll tax. But it died. But can it still happen? Yes. And until the feds take it off their map plan that they have, yes, it can happen.
Okay.
What was the first question out of that?
Oh, Lord. For it or against it?
No, you had two questions.
The Ileana.
I know, but is it,
And I asked if it was a dead issue.
okay, yeah. I agree, it's not a dead issue, never dead, and I'm not for it, no. But I have nothing to do with it. It's gonna happen anyway probably, but I'm not for it, but, and we had to separate, we had to take 129 off of it, because 129 was part of that Ilion Road.
Right.
So we had to separate that to get 129 done. It says, no, that's not part of the Ilion, and 129 is a separate little deal, and get it engineered, like we're talking about engineering, the same as Lorenzo. Lorenzo's different, but, no, it's a dinosaur to me, you know, the look of it, but, I can't do it, it's probably gonna happen. I can't do anything about it, but I don't support it. I know the city had spent, before me, had spent, I think, 35,000 in supporting it. I think that's what was, something like that, but, no, I don't, I think most people don't. It's gonna happen probably anyway, but, I still.
Ben, you'd like to comment on it?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do to go back in time, so again, if it happens, it happens.
Okay.
Out of my control.
Yep.
Okay, well, you know, I thank you gentlemen for coming over tonight. We just thought we'd want to do something with the chamber forum here, so.
And I want to thank everybody for coming too, because, you know, I wish more came, but it's the same as city hall meetings, you know, and we all been through this. I wish more people come to city hall meetings. They say, oh, you're not, you know, we don't know anything. Well, come to a meeting or get online and, you know, you can, you know, you hear stuff and you know, you hear, oh, you know, they never say anything.
Just to
But
let everybody know, there's gonna be a public mayoral forum,
Everybody
on
knows.
March 25th.